Can't sleep through the night? Me neither.
Welcome to this next episode of 6 Weeks to Wellness with Jan Fitzpatrick of inVibeHealth.com. Jan, I love that title, but what are we talking about? Clearly we're talking about sleep, but what are we going to cover here?
Well, we're going to cover one of the mysteries was, and I can't figure it out, and I question it every day, is why do we need to sleep? You know, what is it that that has people and animals, everybody, having to take a little rest every day? Mm-hmm. Kind of planning your whole day around sleep, because it is so important, like what you need to do to get a good night's sleep, and its preparation during the day, and some natural solutions for getting that restful sleep that you need.
Excellent. That sounds good. So let's dive in here. Let's talk about this. Okay. You know, whether it's in your mind, in your body, a little bit of both. You know, so. Why? All right, so Jan, this is one of the great mysteries of the universe. Why do we need to sleep? Why do I need to sleep? I've got things to do. Why do I have to waste my time sleeping?
That's right. I agree. And I mean, I'm a person who loves to sleep. I really do. I plan for sleeping because it feels so good to me. But there are many times when it's difficult, or it's hard to get to sleep. It's hard to stay asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night. But what that sleep is, it's a reboot. It's there's more and more science coming out about it because we really don't know why we sleep.
It's amazing, right? To this day, for all that research that's been done, there's no question that we need to sleep. In fact, you'll die eventually if you don't.
Yes.
But we don't know why fundamentally. We learn more and more about what's going on while you sleep. But
exactly. And one of the things that does happen, which is really important for women 50 and beyond, is that you need 2 deep sleep sessions at night to detoxify your liver. And I'm sure many of the other organs get detoxified too, but they need you completely asleep to do that.
Right.
That's because you're going all day. You're not. That's the time when you're outputting, and now you need to draw back in and get rid of those things that don't belong in your body anymore at night.
Absolutely. Well, I got a little piece of trivia for you, a little divergence here, you know, Jan. So I got fascinated by sleep, and I studied a lot about sleep. I mean, and I ran across something that I'd never thought about, which is, of course, every mammal has to sleep.
Yeah.
Dolphins are mammals that live underwater but have to breathe. Do you actually know how dolphins sleep without drowning?
No, I do not.
Well, I had no idea either, and it's actually mystifying. So you know that your brain has 2 hemispheres, right? The right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Dolphins have one hemisphere at a time go to sleep while the other one is still awake. The only known creature that can do that are dolphins and whales. Fascinating. But that's how important sleep is, that, you know, Mother Nature had to come up with a way for a dolphin to still get its sleep. So anyway, a little bit of trivia for your audience, because I think it's just really kind of cool. Yeah. So now you talk about planning for sleep. I got to confess, I probably do a terrible job of that. So what are you recommending that people do during the day to make sure that they're going to have a good night's sleep?
Well, there are many things that you can do and things that you shouldn't do.
Okay.
The first one I really think is that you need to avoid stimulants. And that could be caffeine, alcohol, it could be stimulating movies, something that gets your blood up.
Yeah. So the third cup of coffee I just had was a bad idea? Is that what you're telling me, Jan?
It's not going to help you tonight, but it's really the timing. It's really the timing as well. Yeah. Because in the morning, well, for myself, I could probably have, I don't really drink coffee, but I drink tea. But I really can't drink tea, green tea, it doesn't matter what kind, after maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I can get to at least like 4 o'clock, but if I do anything after 4 o'clock, forget it. I'm going to have a bad night's sleep. Yeah. And
another thing that you might want to do is have a routine. But do you remember when you were a child, or if you're a parent, you had a routine for your children that, you know, you read to them. Yeah. Well, first of all, you have the bath. Then you do the toothbrushing. Well, you had a routine, basically.
Right. The bedtime story, the ritual of going to bed, right?
Yeah. So they got in their bodies the fact that it was time to go to bed. And that's actually, human body loves routine.
Right. Predictability.
Yeah. And we all, you know, one of the times you're supposed to go to sleep is between 9:30 and 10:30. Your core body temperature actually drops naturally to help you get prepared to go to sleep. So knowing that, if you're working with that system, with a natural thing that happens in your body, you start then backing up from that time to what it takes to get in bed.
Right, right.
By that time, I know I still have a bedtime story I read to myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little frustrated right now because there's more research that's saying that you shouldn't look at anything that's got a glowing screen on it. And you know, my Kindle has a bit of a low glow, but it's got a little bit of a glow. But I'm not giving it up because I want my bedtime story too. So,
and it's really, if to get a little more specific, it's really the blue light.
Oh, is it?
Not
okay.
the white light.
Oh, all right. That's,
so you're good.
I'm vindicated. I can. Thank you, Jan.
You're welcome.
I'm going to continue with my bedtime story because I didn't notice that it was causing me any trouble falling asleep. So
that's my job to make you feel good. So
exactly. I appreciate that. So let's talk a little bit about since we're talking about lights and that are or are not good. It seems like a good segue into natural solutions to help people get a good night's sleep. So if someone's having some trouble getting to sleep, what kind of options are out there that you can advise people on?
Well, as you're preparing your day, we had talked about avoiding stimulants. Well, if we take those 3 points and go backwards, then you say, okay, then I'll time them. So if I want to have my cups of coffee, then I'm done by noon or 1 or lunch.
Right.
I'm not one to say, avoid and reduce, but I mean, if you really love to do something, it's not good to just,
nobody wants to be deprived, right?
Deprive yourself of it.
We're all 3 years old at heart still, and if you take something away from me, I'm going to have a temper tantrum, right?
Yes, and your body is actually too. It doesn't like quick changes, either in your schedule, what you eat, who you talk to, whatever. Your body only likes to do things gradually and comfortably, and that's really the only way you're going to stick with it. So one of them would be to avoid, especially before bed, nothing that'll really rev you up. Because the idea is you're supposed to be revving down.
Exactly. Sleep, yes,
Yeah, and a routine of not eating more than 3 hours before bedtime. In other words, more than 3 hours is ideal because you don't want to be digesting while you're trying to go to sleep.
Right.
It doesn't seem to work really well for most people.
Well, right. You're being. There's a kind of logic to it, right, Jan? I mean, really, part of it is don't give your body a job to do.
Yeah.
Right before you're also going to ask your body to take a break and rest.
Yes.
I mean, so if you've just given it a meal, that requires energy. That's not restful, and so you've created a conflict in your body at that point. So.
And waking up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night's always an issue for people.
Kind of disrupts your sleep, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things you can do is make sure you be well hydrated all day, but after about 6 o'clock, just start sipping. Don't keep drinking things. Really slow down. If they're at the room temperature or warmer, that's great, but don't drink large amounts of things, or your body will just process it and wake you up in the middle of the night, and that's something you don't want to happen. Right,
exactly. So don't set yourself up for something that is going to become a problem. So part of it is paying attention to the patterns and learning the routines of your body, and like you said, working the clock backwards and say, okay, well, if something's happening at 2 a.m. every day, if I can shift something else so that I go to the bathroom before I go to bed, then it's all good.
We just talk about just notice. Just notice what happens when you do this or that. And one of the things that they've done more research on, and I'm sure you're starting to hear more and more about this, is that women who are 50 and beyond, like myself, we kind of run warm anyway.
Right, you mentioned temperature,
And your key to falling asleep is your core temperature drops naturally between 9:30 and 10:30. Okay. Well, it's not going to drop unless you're really in a cooler atmosphere, and I think the temperature is like below 70. So if you're thinking you're having a hard time falling asleep, and you look at the thermometer, you know what? Inevitably, it's probably over 70 degrees as well. And I know some women who love to sleep in the winter comforters in the middle of the summer.
So you might have to jack up the air conditioning in order to achieve that.
A lot of air conditioning, but that cold
Yeah.
is also a cue for your body to relax and fall asleep.
Right. Okay.
And as far as falling asleep, it might be not only your body, but it might also be your mind that's tense.
Mm-hmm.
You have some anxiety. I know what helps me is if I am noticing I'm running a loop in my mind, just have a piece of paper and a pencil near me.
Yeah.
Write those 3 things down that must be done tomorrow, and put it aside, and actually your brain doesn't think about it anymore.
You're so right, and I give that advice to a lot of people too, that there's almost a ritual quality to taking something out of my mind and putting it on a piece of paper for safekeeping, and your mind goes with that and says, okay, well then I don't have to hold it up here. So the hamster goes to sleep now and gets off the wheel because it knows that the information has been stored somewhere, and now I'm free to rest. So it works.
Yeah, and sometimes your body is tense, and just a few stretches might also help to loosen your body, which would also help to loosen your mind as well.
Okay,
it's
so
all about
clearing your body, clearing your mind, getting your temperature right. These are all parts of that magic equation you're talking about here. Excellent. Okay, well this has been good stuff. I hope people are really focusing on this and are going to apply some of this to get a good night's sleep, because as you've said and helped us discover, we do need sleep, whether we understand it or not. There's no getting around the fact that we absolutely need sleep, and that everything we're doing during the day has a role to play with whether they're going to get sleep. So looking at how you're preparing for sleep is important, and then looking at some of these natural cycles of looking at the rhythm of the day, resting your mind, resting your body, getting the temperature right. So that's what we covered today. So people can refer back to this episode. You've also got something for people on your website at invibehealth.com that I want to mention. You've got an ebook that is up on Amazon, but you can get it for free on your website just by clicking on the little icon that's on the upper left of I think every page on your site. So click on that and get right. Yes, that's your upper right hand corner. Yes, my right, my left. So yes, the upper right hand corner of the page. Click on that, and you can get a copy of Jan's book, which is chock full of great advice like this. And then join us back for the next episode of 6 Weeks to Wellness with Jan Fitzpatrick. So Jan, until next time, I appreciate the input.
Thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks.